Hello and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with a Disability Policy for All. Today I have the great fortune to be talking to John Sorenson, who works for the Center of Medicaid and Medicaid Services. But today I'm going to be, since this month is about Father's Day, and John is a father himself, as well as a person with a disability. I'm talking to John about that. So welcome, John.
Hi, Liz. Good afternoon.
The first question I would like to ask you is, what are the biggest challenges that you face as being a father to two young children, as well as being a person with a disability?
Well, being a parent with a disability is a unique situation. You know, being a parent in general is very difficult, and there's a lot of books written about it, but there's no instruction manual, and so you have to figure it out as you go. And my daughters, I have two daughters that are now 8 and 6.5, and being a parent is the most awesome thing. I really love it more than anything ever. When my daughters were small, it was very difficult to care for them, you know, when they were babies, and you have to hold them to feed them, and you have to change them, and you have to carry them a lot, and all of that, and it's very physically demanding for me. You know, I have rheumatoid arthritis for the last 48 years, and so the strength issues become a problem, as well as, you know, keeping up with them once they're mobile is quite a challenge, although my power wheelchair helps out a lot with that. As my children grew and became able to do more things for themselves, then the physical challenge decreases quite a bit. But then it's more about, you know, framing their minds, which every parent has to figure out how best they're going to do that. And so that challenge continues. But physically, it is difficult. It gets better as they're able to do things, and they, you know, now help do things for themselves and help me on occasion, and I love it. You know, I wouldn't change my mind about being a parent ever.
Okay, thank you. Do you ever worry that your kids can be taken away from you because of your disability?
That's a good question, Liz. I'll tell you, I'm aware of this issue nationally, and I know that, unfortunately, courts will tend, in a custody situation, to, you know, regardless of income or whatever other circumstances, courts will tend to give custody to a non-disabled parent where one is in the relationship. And my wife and I were separated for a period of time, and it was a concern of mine that, you know, if she had wanted to do that, that potentially she could have custody and I would not. Now, our situation never got to that, but I know here in the state of Maryland, where we are, there was legislation this year to help make that less of an issue for parents with disabilities. And, you know, it's unfortunate, and I don't really understand the reasoning behind it, that parents with disabilities can lose custody of their children based on the fact that they are disabled.
Earlier in the month, I talked to, I should say, earlier last month for Mother's Day, I talked to a mother or a mother-to-be about the same kind of things that I'm talking to you today about. And I asked her this, why do you think that providers don't want people with disability to have children?
What sort of providers do you mean?
Like providers of services.
I'm not really sure I'm familiar with that issue. Do you mean someone would not want to provide service to a person with a disability because they have children at home also?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's because the role of the provider that's providing care for an individual with a disability is to care for the individual with a disability and not to care for the family unit. Now, I myself have a caregiver that I hire privately, not through a service provider agency, someone that I hired off of some online service. I can't recall right now, but when I hire caregivers, I interview them and make clear that whomever I hire to support my role in the family. And my role in the family is also to assist with the children. So when I hire a caregiver, it's clear from the beginning that part of your role is to help me, and part of your role is to help the children and the household. Now, folks that receive their services through Medicaid programs, their services are provided strictly to them. And I don't agree with that. There should be some sort of option, a caveat to provide services to support a family unit as well, because people with disabilities have families too.
Okay, thank you. The last question I wanted to ask you is, as we're about to celebrate Father's Day, do you have any advice for people with disabilities who might want to be fathers?
Oh, can you still see me?
Yes.
Okay, because I lost you on my screen. My screen's going to sleep, but anyway. My advice is, if you're able to do it, do it. It's the most rewarding thing that you will ever encounter in your life. It's difficult every day, but it's wonderful every day also.
Okay. Thank you. And if you have any questions about this or any other policy issues, please go to the AUCD webpage and look for this week's In Brief. And if you have any questions or concerns about this week's Tuesdays with Liz, please leave them in the space below. Thank you and have a nice day. Thanks.
Love you, Amelia and Sophia. Bye, Liz.
Bye.